Soft music begins. Welcome to NSP Plus TV, Cambodia's voice to the world. I'm Port Norn, here to bring you clear, simple, and trustworthy news. Today, we connect rain, rivers, and ruins, and what they mean for our people and our heritage.
And I'm Nisa. We'll explain how changing monsoon patterns and rising groundwater are affecting Khmer temples, farmers, and tourism, with practical steps communities are already using to adapt.
Let's dive into today's story. Here's the update.
Hook. Monsoon timing is shifting, water tables are rising, and the foundations of ancient Khmer sites are under new stress. But with simple actions, we can protect both temples and livelihoods.
Section 1, Top Story Breakdown and Cambodia's Perspective. First, what we're seeing in the field. Over the past 5 years, researchers and local monitors report wetter starts to the wet season, more frequent high groundwater, and increased bank erosion along some rivers near heritage sites.
What happened? Seasonal rains now begin earlier in some areas and later in others, and intense downpours are more common. This changes how water soaks into the ground and how rivers rise. In low-lying temple complexes, prolonged saturation can weaken foundations and cause cracking.
Why it matters? Many Khmer temples were engineered for older water cycles. Angkor's hydraulic systems were designed to manage predictable flood pulses and dry seasons. When timing shifts, those systems no longer work the same way, and nearby farms that depend on seasonal patterns also feel the strain.
How it affects people. Farmers face crop timing uncertainty. Local guides worry about erosion near visitor paths, and conservators are seeing moisture-related damage in some structures. This is not a single dramatic event. It's a gradual change that matters most over years.
Short update, environmental monitoring. New data from regional hydrology teams shows groundwater levels rising in several basins by a few centimeters each year. It sounds small, but combined with heavier rains, it raises dampness around buried foundations and stone blocks.
Health tip. In flood or high humidity seasons, watch for waterborne illnesses and mosquito increases. Keep medicines dry, support local clinics, and follow community guidance on safe water.
Tourism advisory. If you're visiting heritage sites, follow marked paths, avoid walking on fragile masonry, and respect community signs. Responsible tourism helps fund local conservation and protects fragile areas. Section 2, Cultural and Tourism Spotlight plus Field Report Introduction. Today's Spotlight, a riverside village near a small secondary temple that has adapted with low-cost drainage and community mapping. Our field reporter describes the scene.
On location, the village is calm but attentive. Stone steps at the temple show darker water lines where groundwater rose last season. Villagers point to small trenches that carry excess water away from foundations.
They've organized weekly checks after heavy rains. Local guides lead short walks showing how roots and trees are used to stabilize banks without heavy machinery. It's community knowledge combined with simple engineering.
Now, field report and expert interview. Joining us is Dr. Rith, a hydrologist working with river basin monitoring, and a conservator who advises on temple foundations. Dr. Rith, thank you for joining us. First question, what causes these groundwater changes?
Thank you. The main drivers are a mix: changing rainfall intensity and seasonality, land use changes that alter infiltration, and in some areas, upstream water management. When heavy rains happen frequently, less water soaks slowly into the ground. Instead, it runs off and raises river levels, and groundwater can accumulate in low areas.
Can these changes damage stonework quickly?
Damage is usually gradual. Prolonged moisture accelerates biological growth, salt movement, and freeze-thaw cycles where they apply. For Khmer temples, capillary rise of water into porous sandstone can weaken joints and mortar over years. That's why monitoring moisture and making drainage improvements matter now. And the conservator's view, what are low-impact mitigation steps that protect both the site and local life? Start with simple fixes. Clear blocked drains, set controlled runoff channels away from foundations, and plant native trees with shallow roots to stabilize banks. Use low-cost moisture sensors to track changes. Most importantly, work with communities so solutions respect local uses and sacred spaces.
Field note: in the village we met, a youth group runs a mapping project. They mark vulnerable paths, measure water levels after rain, and share data with conservators. It's small, but it helps target where to put drainage and where visitor access should be limited temporarily.
Section 3. Misinformation Watch, Community Voices, and Solutions Lab. First, a calm correction. A viral post claimed a single heavy storm destroyed Angkor last year. That's false. Damage occurred in localized spots, but Angkor's core monuments remain intact thanks to long-term conservation and careful monitoring.
How to verify: check official conservation statements, look for multiple credible sources, and note whether images are dated or geotagged. If a claim has one dramatic photo but no credible expert comment, treat it with caution.
Community Voices. We heard from a farmer named Srey, who said her rice planting now follows a different schedule. She's learning to use small bunds to hold water longer for seedlings. A local guide, Sok, told us, protecting the temple means protecting our food and our future. That connection matters.
Solutions Lab. Practical tools you can support or promote. Community drainage maintenance. Tree planting with native species. Simple moisture sensors. Many low-cost kits exist. Community mapping programs. And directing part of tourism revenue to local conservation funds.
Funding avenues: small grants from heritage NGOs, crowd-supported conservation programs that pay villagers for monitoring, and local government partnerships with universities for data sharing. These approaches build capacity and keep knowledge local.
Viewer question: how can I help from abroad? First, support reputable conservation organizations working in Cambodia. Second, travel responsibly. Choose guides and operators who fund local conservation, follow site rules, and give to community projects that help both people and monuments.
Summary and key takeaways. 1. Monsoon timing and groundwater shifts are gradual but meaningful. 2. Risks can be managed with monitoring, simple drainage, and community-led action. 3. Protecting temples and protecting livelihoods go hand in hand.
One clear action you can take today: if you visit a heritage site, stay on marked paths and ask your guide how tourism fees support conservation. Insist on operators who contribute locally.
If you found this episode useful, subscribe to NSP Plus TV for daily, calm, fact-based news that supports Cambodia's heritage and communities. Share this episode with a friend who cares about culture and climate.
And if you have a question or a local story about water and heritage, send it to our inbox. We'll read community voices in upcoming episodes.
That wraps up today's coverage from NSP Plus TV. Thank you for spending your time with us and staying informed.
We're here every day to bring you clear, simple news and to share the stories that highlight Cambodia's culture, progress, and place in the world.
Remember, truth and clarity matter. The facts are clear. The evidence is undeniable. Stand with Cambodia.
We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching NSP Plus TV. Music fades out.